Captain America Civil War is the 2016 sequel to Captain America First Avenger and Captain America The Winter Soldier. It is the 13th installment of the MCU and the first movie in Phase 3. It was produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Motion Pictures, directed by the Russo brothers. And now, in our way to Avengers Endgame, it is time for us to review this film to see if it's still good or how good it is and if it's still worth a watch. In the next couple of minutes, we are going to find out. The good. The cast is perfect as usual. This is a big assembly of old and new faces, and definitely it feels very familiar. You know a lot of these characters. You have seen them in previous movies many times before, and definitely you feel like you're coming back home to watch something that you've already seen before, and that's always a good feeling. And of course, we get introduced to Black Panther and Spider-Man. Now, as the title says, the movie centers around Steve Rogers and his personal dilemmas, but also it does around Tony Stark's. Their differences of opinion are going to be fundamental in the outcome of the film. As in The Winter Soldier, the Russo brothers deal with a lot of mature themes in this film, particularly in regards to friendship, civility, and moral responsibility. This is definitely a great movie because it does ask very important questions and actually has some of the best lines within the whole MCU. Although not 100% accurate, the movie is a great adaptation of the Civil War storyline. There are a lot of visual and textual references that make the message come across. As usual with Marvel movies, the action scenes are well choreographed. The fights are great, are very intense, and also the CGI is well applied. In that regard, Marvel is one of the best and they know what they're doing. The bad. Now it's time to talk about the bad things. I think the biggest flaw of this film is its over-reliance on the success of The Winter Soldier. In many ways, it feels like it tries to follow in its footsteps, but it's not as engaging or as intense as The Winter Soldier was. And I think that's the biggest weakness for the film, that it feels more like a sequel to that, and rather than really playing as a single story that encompasses technically, you know, the whole Avengers. The film is also very dry. The comedy has been a point of contention for a lot of fans throughout the MCU. A lot of people think that the MCU has too much comedy. And I can say, you know, that in part they're correct. But I feel that in this film, they went very serious. And of course, it's a serious matter, but they went too serious. And sometimes there is the lack of some phony moments or some more lighthearted situations that will actually bring the intensity down a bit in some instances, particularly in the beginning of the film. So I feel that on that part, the film needed a little more of that to make it feel more comfortable for the viewers. Something a little more charming in that sense. It doesn't mean that the movie needs to be a parade of constant jokes, but I feel that some of that lightheartedness that other movies have, even The Winter Soldier, it's non-present here. As in other MCU films, there are a lot of things here that do not make sense. Of course, the movie is going really fast, so sometimes you don't pay attention to some of those things, and they're not mentioned, of course, perhaps just to allow the script and the story to move along and not to get bogged down into some of these instances of situations. But the questions are there. Like, for example, how is it that Steve Rogers knew about the death of you know, Tony's parents before anybody else? How is it that Simon knew about the Winter Soldier program even before S.H.I.E.L.D.? That's just a few questions there, but there are plenty in the movie, and there's plenty in the MCU, that they don't make sense. But of course, even though they're there and they might not be as visible to some, they still bother some. In conclusion, Captain America Civil War is a very interesting film. It asks a lot of important philosophical questions, but it doesn't take a side. It allows viewers actually to come to their own conclusions. And that's good. It is really definitely good when a movie is not trying to force you to believe something, but also present the stuff for you to make your own mind. However, in trying to be so thought-provoking, the movie sometimes comes across as a bit pompous and less riveting than its predecessor. In that sense, Winter Soldier managed to ask philosophical questions without feeling too stuffy. For the most part, this film is a good watch with the family. However, younger audiences, particularly small children, will have a hard time really connecting with the film as they did perhaps with the first Avenger or even the Winter Soldier because of the subject matter, because of the themes that are presented in this film. It is a film with a lot of pluses, but also with a lot of negatives. And in many ways, it does feel a lot like Age of Ultron. Like it feels like an intermission rather than a standalone film, which is kind of disappointing. But what I really enjoy about this film is that it fleshes out the characters. You can get to see them more. You can get to see some of their interactions even in a deeper way, and you can see their dilemmas. They also have some dysfunctional things going on within their group, but also you know, they are hopeful. They try to do the best they can depending on how they feel and on what their personal beliefs are, and definitely that's interesting. It's extremely interesting. So even though there are a lot of negatives, I would say there's also some positives here that I really enjoy and make this movie different than others. And also, like I said before, there's a lot of great lines within this film that are, you know, they'll be forever remembered. So if I have to give this movie a score, I would say 7.5 out of 10. So what is your opinion? Do you like Civil War? Are you a fan of the storyline? Have you read the comic book? How you compare it with the movie? Do you like the movie more than the storyline? Please let me know. I would like to hear it. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you're reminded of the next video. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All the links are down below. And please consider supporting me financially. You can do that through Patreon, through PayPal, and through GoFundMe. Again, all the links are down below. So once again, thanks for watching. God bless you. And I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.